It's 7:45. Now, if you've noticed over the past few weeks, our sister channel SABC1 has been sharing with us a few promos of the new drama that will be starting next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. Now, Tjovitjo is a new exciting series centered around Pantsula dance and township lifestyle. And the story tells of a hardened thug fighting for redemption and acceptance by his community. And without giving away too much, this morning we talked to director Vincent Moloi and actor Rapulana Sipemo. Gents, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now Vincent, I'm going to start with you. The storyline centers around espionage, dance moves, twerking, etc. Do share more on this.
I know about twerking, I don't know about espionage. But it's a story about a young, down-and-out dance leader who just realized that he no longer has the same kind of agility he used to have, and that frustrates him. And it leads him to a kind of behavior that leads him to deeply get into a dark space that he never thought he could get to. And now he has to dig his way back into light.
Okay.
And that's basically the story of Tjovitjo.
And talk to us about the location. Why did you choose Alexander as the setting of this?
Well, it looks like Alexander, but actually it's not Alexander, which is part of the reason I liked that location. It's in Johannesburg, but that kind of location could be anywhere else in the world, because that's how we wanted to set Tjovitjo. It needs to be a world where you realize that it doesn't matter where the geography of it is. What matters is what it looks like and what it represents. So it could be anywhere else in the world. But to give you a very direct answer, it's in Crown Mines. There's a very interesting story about that particular location, because it used to be a housing complex for mining bosses, but now it's almost like a dilapidated place where people who are destitute are now living. Right. So it's a very interesting contrast of the past and the current, which is what really Tjovitjo is about. It's the colliding of a different world. So it represents what probably happens in South Africa at the moment, where you see a bit of inequality, destitute, and people who are hopeless and are seeking for hope.
Now, Rapulana, you play the character of Bratera. What's his role in this drama?
Actually, you know, he's kind of like the nemesis of the young men, you know. Yeah, because he always, Vincent always reminds me, it's like, no, you know, this is the old and the young.
Sure.
You know, and I'm like, come on, man, I'm not that old, am I? But anyway, Bratera is kind of like the opposite, and the guy that gives this young man a run for his money, basically. And he has been in prison to start with, and he's out, and he went to prison for something that he never really did. You know, he served this time just because he couldn't, you know, basically read out some other character also that exists in this world. Penyuga. So what happens is Bratera is hardened, and he wants to go back to the world. You know, he wants this world to be what it used to be, but unfortunately times have moved on, you know, and things have changed, and there are new and vibrant young people coming up who want to claim their stake in this world, and he's not necessarily for that. And that is why there is that much conflict, and ultimately a war. It's a war, basically.
The other thing that's interesting about Bratera's character is that he represents a lot of older people who feel like in the past they never really got the opportunities that young people do have. And sometimes that leads them to be bitter. And out of that come rage. And that rage leads to explosive moments. I mean, we kind of want to tell you, but we don't want to tell you. But the character of Bratera, this is an interesting story. I didn't come up with the character. When I met up, then I said, I'm doing this thing, and I want a character. And together, we started molding and building this character. And we talked about all the people in our community that we know. And that's how this character came about.
Yeah, and Raplana, we've seen you play previous drama series before, and you've portrayed a person or a character who is a hothead, who gets pissed off very easily. So I'm sure you're going to have it easy portraying Bratera, isn't it?
Not necessarily. I mean, you have to understand. There are certain character traits, from the conversations that we had with Vincent. There are certain character traits that we decided to set on and say, okay, fine, this is what he is. Number one, I mean, the guy, has, had a stroke. So, one of his arms is not necessarily, functioning positive. But, that's the most interesting thing about the process between, building this character, because it was born out of a conversation with Vincent, and that's the one thing that I really appreciated, because Vincent came in and challenged me and said, you know what, I want to take you to spaces that you've never been, and we have to come up with a character, and we did come up with Bratera, and you will find him interesting. I mean, he's kind of dark, but there are moments where you're going to feel for him. You're going to sympathize with him.
And Urapulane always play hysteric most of the time. So I thought, no, man, this thing of yours,
isn't it?
All being hysteric.
No, the thing about it is he doesn't want to admit the fact that, I'm bigger than he is.
Hysteric,
Come on. I am. And he always reminds me on set, Raplana, you know what, you're number 4, man. There's number 1, number 2, number 3. Please, can we get this done?
But throughout that conversation came certain layers of Bratera. Yeah.
All right, sure. Gentlemen, great chatting to you this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
So much.
All right, there you have it. That was Vincent Moloi and actor Raplana Sipemo sharing more on the new drama on SABC 1. It'll air next Sunday, the 20th of August at 8 p.m. This is a must-see. I can assure you, it definitely is a must-see.